surgery. There is a first time for everything. I was pretty lucky in my life. I never had surgery until 3 weeks ago. I needed to have a surgery for medical purposes. And for those who doesn't know how the surgery works, it's more or less like this. They strip you naked. They make you wear one of those vests that you see in the movies. You put your hands inside, your back is completely open. So it's really refreshing down there. Then the nurse takes you to the operating theater, and in the meanwhile you meet actually nurses and doctors. Hi, hi. Like always like this. It's like very embarrassing. And then she asks you to sit in a very cold metal table. And while you're there, you start to take a look around, and you start to realize there is a vast number of surgical tools that the doctor will use on you. And you start to realize there is a nurse, and she's polishing very slowly a big amount of forceps and scissors of any size. And another nurse is actually filling up syringes of any size. Literally, I've seen everything. And you gradually start to realize all these tools, they are actually going to be used on you in very few minutes. So I want to make an exercise with you, if you could do it with me. Breathe in. Take a very big breath. Feel all the air up in your lungs. See how your lungs can become so big, how powerful they are. Start to realize that your body is an intricate net of living things, and all of your organs are working all together constantly. They are working, they are pumping, they are creating life. And now start to imagine that someone will slowly come to you with a very tiny knife, will cut you open, and they will take a very little piece of you and throw it away. Because this is what it feels like to have a surgery. When I still breathing, you can breathe now. I had a surgery in which I had local anesthesia. It means that I need to stay awake. And the doctor, after a few minutes, asks you, how do you feel after the local anesthesia? And you are completely wasted. Like you went out on a Friday night, you didn't have dinner, you got drunk in the worst brand of Raquel ever, and you pass out on a bathroom floor. That's how you feel in that moment. And so you are conscious, you are heavily intoxicated, and you are completely powerless. And someone is actually extracting something from you. So the amount of trust you should have on the doctor is huge, because this guy could actually harvest all of your organs and go away with it, because you're too drunk to fight. So after the surgery, what's happening? You're not sleeping because you're still awake, you're very nauseous, you cannot stand, and the only thing you want is actually someone holding your hand, caressing your hair, and said everything's going to be fine. I nodded off a little bit, and there was nobody when I woke up, because nobody was actually allowed in the operating theater. But you know what was my first thought when I actually woke up? Can you guess? My first thought after the surgery was, there are people that do this for aesthetical purposes. There are people that actually voluntarily undergo a surgery and feels like crap for 6 to 16 weeks just to make a nose better or to have better cheekbones. And honestly, if you actually realize there is something wrong with your cheekbones, how much free time do you have? Because we can have surgery for everything we want. There is eyelid, there is upper arm lift, is tight, fixing, I don't know what is to fix all the time. And I make some research when I go home, and of course, under 100% of people that make surgery, 92 are women, and just 8% is men. So you can actually guess what is the first surgery that women get.
No, breast.
Breast implant. The second one is nose, but in 2015, we actually had a 98% raise in another kind of surgery. Butter. And if you think, man, you're out of this, you're not out of this. That 8%, you know what they decide to do? Can you guess?
Nose.
Pectoral implants. So imagine this man, and they're maybe 75 years old and they still have this very much marble, hard kind of pectoral. It's really interesting to imagine that, right?
Good one.
So, my point is, when we start to modify our bodies, we will never be happy with anything we do. We start maybe from our nose, maybe from our lips, our eyelids, and we're gonna keep going on and on and on. But is it just me, or you also realize that we are out of our mind? Why can't we be happy with our bodies? Why can't we be happy with what we have? We were born this way. And I think we are a perfect living thing. And you realize that when someone opens you up and disrupt that perfect connected body. So my point is, if you want to have a nose job or a breast implant, you are in a free country. Do it. But take it from someone who was actually awake while they were taking something from her. Think twice. Because after all, how bad can breasts be?